Well, my name is Lance Chad, and Tjyllyungoo is my traditional name. It's a Yamaji name. It's a name that was given to me when I was about 2 years old by my father and my father's old uncle, Jimmy Green. He was an old man from Migatharra, where my father worked at Tjyllyungoo station when he was young, after he left the mission down at Rowlands. Basically, I'm a landscape painter and I work in different mediums, gouache and watercolours and acrylics and oils. But recently I work in a lot of pastels as well, which I found was really interesting. I didn't think they would be, but if you use them in an opaque manner, like dry paint, they look great. I've been painting now for a long time. I grew up around art with my uncle, Reynold Hart, who was married to my mother's sister, and my mother's brother, Alan Kelly. They were child artists of the famous Carolup mission painters. And so I grew up on the reserves down south here, and in a lot of the little camps and shanty places that the old people built for us to live in. You know, Noongars them days never had houses, so we lived on the reserves and also in little camps here and there. And so we'd see them painting, and as a kid I used to watch them a lot and be quite close to my uncles because I was interested in what they were doing, particularly Uncle Reynold Hart. He was like a mentor in relation to art and painting. But I also remember my uncles talking about Albert Namatjira, and when I was about 10 I used to get into this old boss that Dad used to work for. I used to get into his house when he'd go to church because he had a painting of Uncle Reynolds and he had a print of Albert Namatjira. So I remember staring at those for hours, and I remember seeing Albert Namatjira's head on a stamp at his house as well, and I remember being quite envious of those paintings. But the other thing that I'd realised further on down the track, because a lot of us were born into low self-esteem, and a lot of the things I realised further down the track that what it actually meant to me at that young age was that, you know, black people can do great stuff as well. And I think it surprised a lot of white people as well as black people that an Aboriginal person can fathom any of that kind of knowledge, you know. And so even at a young age, I think, and I didn't realise this till later on, but it was saying that to me, and that gave me confidence that I could probably do something like that as well. I grew up painting that Carolup style, and then I had an option one day to go into Rob Jetty. I was in here at Fremantle, see if I can get a casual day's work there for $45, or I could take 4 paintings I had into this government gallery down at St George's Terrace, and they bought them off me for $100 each, and they said bring some more back in. Mary Maha was running that gallery and her sister Betty Jones, they were great ladies. So I started taking my work back in there. I've been painting ever since that. That's the last time I actually went out and worked. I've been living from painting since that time. But Mary's husband, he's an old artist, master. He was a Frenchman. He took me out to his studio there one time because, you know, the old people that I learned to paint the Carolup style, they never knew any theory for colour, and they never understood all the materials, you know, that were available. We used to paint on old 3-ply, anything that we could find. I went out to old Václav Maha, to his studio with him, and he started to tell me about colour. He told me about the primaries, secondaries, and he taught me which ones were the warmers and coolers, and how cool colours recede and warm colours advance. And he told me that light and colour were the same thing, so I understood the theory. My work started to change after that, because I'd always wanted to go to Namatjira's country. And so I learned watercolours and the difference between opaque mediums and transparent mediums. I had my first exhibition in Albany in 1975. It was just half a dozen paintings at a tourist bureau down there. And I remember quitting my job thinking that I was going to be an artist. And I remember being back on the dole about 6 weeks later. So I used to paint in between jobs and weekends and that. I found further along the track, I felt that we needed to look at painting our culture and our spirituality, because I've been influenced all the way along from our culture. I find the culture is inspiring and makes you think of ways of depicting spirituality or painting what's intangible in order for other people, you know, to be able to explain the connections where Aboriginal people have through culture and through spirit to land and animals and plants. We call it totems, but Burunga is what it really is called, and it means your spiritual elder brother. if you belong to that particular totem, animal, bird. And when I see ngoya and other birds and animals, I automatically think they're old people. That was somebody's totem, somebody's spiritual elder brother. We had the research culture as well, there's a lot of stuff that's been lost and gone with the old people in generations gone by. So a lot of us have been fortunate to have some white people back then that they wrote some stuff down as well. Otherwise some of that information would have been lost to us as well. I have a painting called Picking Up the Pieces. It's magpies below these dead trees that represent what used to be a forest of information, and also skulls and bones at the base of those trees, representing what's been lost and forgotten and becoming extinct to us. And then I've got all these magpies around which represent us picking up the pieces and regathering what's left of our culture. It's sad at times, but other times it makes me happy as well. I think the sharing of culture and the valuing of culture, I just hope it doesn't deteriorate, because we've been promoting culture for a long time. And, you sometimes see the language deteriorating in the pronunciations, and then the lack of interest in the younger generations and moving into the cities and away from country. So this sort of stuff worries me. Yeah, so I started looking at the culture and painting culture, and the good thing that I found with that was our culture is land-based. So as a landscape painter, I just needed to culturalise or spiritualise landscape using our images and stories to incorporate that with land and try to depict that sort of connections. I've been painting quite a lot of rocks in recent times. I did some work called Tjyllyungoo a few years ago. Tjyllyungoo, it means a long time ago, before a long time ago. But every now and again I get off the culture and I go back and paint just ordinary landscapes. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to do both of that. I've had exhibitions in some places. I had an exhibition in Los Angeles and New York. I only went once to Los Angeles. Horrible. I was homesick. But not only that, once I got there, I just wondered what the hell I was doing there. And I started thinking, what am I doing here? I don't like it. What am I doing? Chasing money? Chasing dollars? Well, I did some stuff with Russell James. I think that's the only collaboration I've done with Nomads. But that's just working on his big black and white photos. Some of them were 6 by 4 foot black and white photos. My mate gave me those a long time ago, about 30 years ago. But they remind me of my old man. My old man was a stockman. And so I keep them for that. I've done painting of the stockmen, the drovers. I've got a painting that goes with those set of horns, all about the Yamaji stockmen. We never grew up with didgeridoos and dots. We grew up with landscapes and guitars and country music. And so I thought that'd be a good line for a song. So yeah, I wrote a song in relation to that. Yeah, I'd like to see the rest of Australia, actually. I've seen little bits and pieces here and there, and I've been through the central, and I've done some places in the Flinders Ranges. But I like to look at the landscape, That's one of the things I'd like to do. That's basically where I'm at today. I'm still painting landscape and the cultural stuff. It's my passion, so it's good to be able to do that. Do what you love doing.